Hello? Hello? Oh. Oh, excuse me. No. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Paint with Josh back in the studio. If you didn't know, the Patriots have just won the Super Bowl in 2026. That's a fib. They're getting their butts kicked right now. It's actually a very, yeah, yeah, right. This is again a live show right here on February 8th. Okay, London? At 7:18. 7:18 p.m. All right, so we're taking our 16 by 20 inch white canvas, putting our liquid white all over it. Now, what is liquid white? Does anybody out there know in the comments? Type it in the comments if you think you know what liquid white is, because I get that question a lot. People go, what is liquid white? Like, do I need it? Yes, you absolutely need it. Okay, you have to have it, but what is it? Do you know what it's made out of? Maybe how to make your own if you don't want to purchase it, but you want to make your own. What's it made out of? Check the comments right now, all is. Even if you're watching this afterwards, because someone else has probably already typed it in and answered your question for you. Liquid white is the base coat to all of the white canvas paintings that we use. It thins down our thicker paints. It allows everything to blend, and it's made of titanium white and paint thinner, basically, in a 50-50 mix, right? So I've never made my own before. I always just buy it. You can either use Bob Ross brand or the Grumbacher's brand. Both are equally awesome. I'm going to take my ultramarine blue. I'm going to bring this guy about down to half, and then I can decide how much wave I want to see in this painting. Now, because our canvas is already wet with that liquid white, and this is just about how much you want to have on there. You can see it's a very thin amount. We can even see down through to the black glove. That's how little amount of liquid white is on there. If you don't wear gloves, you should be able to see all the ridges in your fingerprint. And so if you touch it and you just get a completely white finger and you can't see any details, then you know you have too much of that liquid white on, okay? We're gonna put a little bit of our blue. Let's go a little bit of purple on this guy, just because we got some left from the last painting. A little bit of black as well, and pop that big old monster darkness right in there. Perfect. It's gonna be amazing. Now, we can't necessarily blend out the sky when it's full of color like this, right? At least our brush being full of color. So we've got to wash out that brush into our odorless mineral spirits, which is a sort of paint thinner that gets oil paint off of your brushes very quickly and easily. Right? Then we shake the excess into a can, and then I have a 5-gallon bucket with a golf ball basket in the bottom, and that is my beater bucket, right? And I beat the bajosh out of the brush into the bucket. That way it releases and flicks out all that color and that excess thinner, and then you dab it on a paper towel very vigorously. It does not have to be pure dry. As you can see, there's a bit of wetness in there, a bit of glare on my glove. So it doesn't have to be 100% dry. You need that little bit of wetness in there to help the paint move as well. Now, if I'm going to blend, I'm going to get right back up into the light part of my sky. I'm going to start mixing out into the blue, kind of dragging little bits of it back into our white area, changing the color. Right? We do not want this white area to remain pure white. If it's pure white, it'll never show our white clouds. Right? So the more we go out and around into this darker color, right? Grab some from down here and work it up this way, grab some from this way, and we didn't get all of it. Right? Work it over here, grab almost everything back over here. And again, you're just making a big circle around this thing, blending it out until you feel like it's nice and soft. And the softer that you want the sky, the more you have to push on that canvas. It's backwards compared to what you might think. Right? If you just very lightly graze across, you're going to leave very harsh brush marks. Versus if you're pushing it a lot, you're going to blend that paint with that wet base coat that's underneath, and the blue and the black, and everything starts to blend. Right? You get almost clouds out there without even having to do anything, because we left a big old space. Right? I always get that question too. How do you get your clouds so white, Josh? Well, we don't put blue and black and purple everywhere. We leave that spot. So when we blend it, it becomes lighter here. It's heavier in the paint there, lighter in the middle, so that we can take our titanium white on our fan brush. We're going to hold it very vertically like this, so we can spin it back and forth. Do not hold it like a pencil, please. Hold it like this, touch the corner first, and just start scrubbing. And you'll see that the white starts to come off and instantly starts turning blue on our brush. So we have to turn the brush about halfway through and get all of that white paint to pop off of there and just go crazy, right? Along the back edge, we really don't care what it looks like, the bottom side, I mean, right? You're only really worried about what that top side looks like. Now, without washing my brush, just really vigorously dabbing it off, brushing it off, and wiping it off on a paper towel, you can remove 98% of that color, right? So now it's just basically a little bit of liquid white still left in the brush. And as we get up here and we start to spin up our chocolate milk, right? Pretend like you're mixing chocolate milk. Are you going to mix the chocolate milk with your hand all the way down here on the prongs of your fork? Don't look at me like that. You don't use a fork to mix up chocolate. Try it next time, I'm telling you, right? Way better than a spoon. A spoon, right? We hold it back here on our fork, right? So we can mix it up and make very, very small counterclockwise circles is what I do, right? Here's a slowed down version of what we're doing. I can't even keep it going, right? But all we're doing is making very light little counterclockwise circles, taking some of the white from up here, mixing it down, taking some of the dark, mixing it up. And we're just making this continual mix throughout the whole thing. Now, if I continue to mix and push, and then eventually all this white paint will disappear. It will mix in with our sky and completely vanish. It's a good word, right? It shall vanish from our sight. Perfect. Now, if you're pushing it harder along the bottom, it's going to mix in and become less, right? Less bright, less noticeable, more like our sky, kind of faded out. And that way you can come in with a little bit. This is when we're holding it like a pencil, kind of flip it over this way, over that way, whatever. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It just has to be out there, right? Just looking like a little floater hanging out in the water. I mean, the sky. Out here, that's a different kind of floater. Over here, we're pushing it, we're pulling it harder so we can make it disappear. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to stay there. I can mix, I can go hard across the whole thing. Bang, just like that. Make it a little softer, however I want it to look. Because it's not the focal point of the painting out there, right? I want it to be a little taller right here. I can do that. I can get it closer to that cloud. It can be a little bit bigger and chunkier, right? It's winter time, it's allowed to be a little chunkier. Bang, push it, make it sit there. Blend away the areas you don't like. All you have to have is bright areas and dark areas, guys. It's supremely easy. And if you're using white over a darker color, you're mixing, and with each circle or each little swipe, you're judging with your eye what it looks like. You know what I mean? Do you want it to fade more back here? Push harder. Make that thing almost disappear, or stretch the paint. I bet you we could get this paint right there over here just by grabbing it and pulling. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See how we didn't stay in the same spot and we sort of extended it that way? It's literally that easy, my friends. Let's come back over here. We're going to take our black and our blue. Woo, that's a dark color. A little bit of our purple too. Why not? Why not? Just all three of them dark colors. And we're going to pop in the hardest thing you can possibly do as a painter, which is paint a straight line. Isn't that straight? Oh man, that is not level, but that's okay. We get to mix it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, attempting to make the back area level. Now, is the back area of my horizon nice and level across? You tell me, right? What do you think? Tell me now in the comments below. Because standing over here on the right side, you have a tendency to dip downwards, and that's not always the best look, right? Put a little bit of blue in there too. Ooh, guys, is that straight along the back? Let me know. We got yes, I feel it. I feel it, right? Now we're gonna get a little bit more in that same color, our blue, black, and purple, okay? We've made our one long stripe. Let's make one more underneath him. And then we're gonna go less, 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 and less, and less, right? Over exaggerating it for you, but it's very much like that. We want a sort of a triangle shape, right? So it's gotta have an angle here. Obviously we can't see the point of our triangle. It continues on that way. But it's got a flat side, and then an angle, right? That is a triangle, right? Now, if we can keep this dark area like this, we're going to split it up into different things. Is that horizon level? Are you guys like being honest with me? Okay, I think it is. It looks so much like it's like this, standing on this side. That's why I always have to have that camera back there so I can at least see what it looks like. We're going to put our dark color around the edge, finishing our seascape around our canvas. And then, because there's still a lot of color on here, I'm going to dab it off on a paper towel. Just real vigorous like. Get it down here, dab it off. And then, without adding any extra color, we should be able to have a much brighter version of that color that's back there. Now, I don't want to mix this triangle. I don't want to lose that angle, right? So what I need to do is push a little harder down here and get lighter as I'm up into that triangle with that top half of my brush, or at least that top side right there. I don't want to mix so hard that they mix together, right? We need them to be separate in this painting anyway. Have that lighter color down here. And you know what we can do is even make it a little touch darker. There we go. Because we're going to brighten it up anyway, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like, right? And then from here out, we're going to take our Van Dyke brown. We're going to start from the bottom. Start dragging over. I didn't even wash the brush, didn't dab it off or anything because I'd already dabbed it off, so it was already pretty clean. Okay, that way I'm not going to get too much of my watercolor, well, not watercolor paint, but water tones into my sand, right? And it happens, it will happen. If you put on too much sand, or too much brown, it becomes very, very, very dark sand. Right? But you have to have the brown down there mixing in to this lighter grayish area. So you can intermix these guys until you almost can't even tell what or where they met. You know what I mean? That's going to be perfect. Perfect. perfection, you guys. Okay, now we're going to take our titanium white, that very, very thick paint, onto our palette tool. Congratulations to the Seahawks, by the way. I know everybody in Washington is going crazy right now. Is anyone from Washington even here? I guarantee. I mean, maybe now, but like anyone in Washington would have been watching the Super Bowl while it was on because their team was in the Super Bowl. Now we're going to go right in the center of our canvas, right onto our horizon, and we're going to scrape, and we're going to get a little lower, and a little lower, and a little lower. It doesn't even have to be, see how we kind of went up and down and whatever. It doesn't have to be a straight line. That's the whole point, right? There's no straight lines out there in the ocean. They're all kind of wavy and crazy and everywhere, right? Do we have any? Thank you. So I said hello. Hello, Nancy. How you doing? It's just like, hello. All right, Callie, over there. Let's see. I need to paint again. It's been a while. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, do you not know we paint every, like, 5 days a week? We paint a lot, like a whole heck of a lot. Right? Now, by scraping backwards with a very small amount of that titanium white from the edge of the lip, trying to get back towards the end of our horizon, but leaving a dark back to it, right? Our horizon never has white all the way at the back, okay? Unless the sun is like literally setting into the water on that spot, then you're not going to see a lot of brightness at the back of the horizon. So once we have our pretty straight line, right? I'd say a little bit more space from the lip to the horizon here, much less over here, right? But it's pretty level. It just kind of dips down a little towards the end. We're going to change that direction, right? And remember, we have to split this dark patch up into 3 sections. So these 2 things should not take up too much room. You got to stay in the top 1/3, okay? Now, if we're directly in the half of our canvas here, right in the middle, we want to go right in the middle of this guy and touch, right? Boom, right on the edge. And then go down very lightly, side to side, boom, right? Again, not too much of a gap, not too much difference. It's not too much steeper than the other one is, right? But it has to change that angle because this guy is rolling up and going to roll in front of and crash in front of that other guy, right? So this angle has to come down, and you want to go down. There we go. Especially off the edge of the canvas. Go down, if anything. Don't go back up. There, right? Now what we're going to do is pop in the eye of our wave. I love these crashing waves because they come out differently every time, right? Now, this guy, if it's rolling and crashing right here, right, we can actually make, because we got so much room on this side, let's move the eye over a little bit. Bang. We don't want to make it too big. It's only, I don't know, it's maybe 3/8 of an inch, maybe 1/2 inch at its biggest point, and then it streaks over to almost nothing. But you can see there's a little separation in between this paint and the paint that is up here on our water, right? We have to have it be different, guys. You cannot let those 2 things touch. Otherwise, it's going to just end up looking like the same thing, and you won't be able to tell what's going on, right? So in our brains, we're connected onto this line, and we're going to roll up over horizon just barely, just like a 1/4 inch, and then roll down and start crashing all that water in, right? You don't have to paint that part because we're going to paint over that same line. So even if we were to get up here and touch it and start to roll over, right, kind of completing that line, we're going to end up covering anyway. So we don't need to put the paint there. We're just going to basically kind of follow along, turn it to where it starts dipping, and then we're going to touch and pull back, touch and pull back, touch and pull back. Each time we do that, we're like suction cupping a bit of this white paint onto the canvas and then pulling it away. Because the titanium white is so thick, right, it leaves this lip. Like when you take like a bit of, let's say you took a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right, put them together, and then you tried to pull them apart. Some of the jelly and some of the peanut butter are going to want to stick together, right? You're going to have a little bit of both on each piece of bread by the time you pull them back apart. And there's going to be these little stringy bits that like stick on and pull. That's what we're looking for right here. We want to have that little bit of texture. Not a lot of paint though, because I'm going to wipe off my blade so it's nice and clean. We're going to get up here and we're basically going to keep my middle finger and my thumb from moving, okay? And we're going to push down on my index finger, which is going to make my middle finger lift up, right? If you push down here, it's just the same as doing this, right? But our middle finger is on there to stabilize, right? So all you're doing is going to put the blade flat against it at that same angle. Notice where the handle is. It's pointed towards 3 o'clock on our clock, okay? That way, if my thumb, can you guys see that? If my thumb back here is in between my fingers, right, like that, where you'll be able to see on either side, like I got your nose, you know what I mean? It's in between there, then I should be able to line up this angle with the paint, touch onto it, right, and then push my index finger over. Boom, just like that. Push it. Toss the paint a little bit, almost like you're steering a steering wheel. Like you've got like you're driving a car that's the size of a hamster's car, right? And you just got to turn that little steering wheel. It's like a little Lego car. You're just driving this little old Lego car and you're just turning your tiny steering wheel. Now you'll notice these couple ones, the handle's up here. And then as we keep going across this wave, the handle will change. We'll keep doing the same motion, but where the handle starts is going to change, okay? So as we get over here, our handle is considerably lower now than it was over here. And as we turn it, it's going to throw the paint out at a certain direction, right? So if I turn my handle more vertically, then it's going to throw my paint more horizontally as I cast. Just all I'm doing is not moving this. All I'm doing is putting pressure on this guy. So the other one lifts up. It's like a teeter-totter, right? And we're kind of flipping our wrist just a little thing. Boop, little turn of the wheel. Don't pull it straight down, okay? Please don't pull it straight down. It doesn't just go straight down. It's being thrown towards the beach, okay? And if you need any little amount of paint, you just want the smallest bit, right? To just stay bright up there is all. Very light touch, very soft. You don't even need this detail to be very big, right? It's not seen. As you paint the rest of the painting, you barely even notice that this thing is there, right? So don't worry about it. Everyone focuses on it and thinks that that's the focal point. It's really not. This is the focal point of our scene, especially as all that water rolls up and crashes over, right? Now, we're going to take a little touch of our liquid white. Excuse me. Apparently, if you rewatch this YouTube video and have the sound up right at the very beginning when it comes on, you'll hear me belch. If that's something you want to hear. I didn't mean for it to happen. It's completely accidental. But that's what went down at the very beginning, very, very beginning of the show. Before, like, as the splash page is playing, right? That thing that says, like, painting starting soon. My mic was hot, and I did not realize. And it went, brap. It was pretty funny. So, what we're going to do in here, right? Now that we have our crashing bit, which is starting at a higher point, getting to a lower point, and then again, getting to a higher point on this side. And we have our distance in between here. Washington, who's that? From Yakima, who's that? Shasta Daisy. From Yakima, that's cool. I just taught a virtual class to a guy in Yakima the other day. Right, what we're gonna do is tap along the edge. Yakima is very close to one of my favorite places in Washington, which is Sela. Got lots of students up there that are just begging me to come back up and teach a class. So we'll be back up soon, you guys. I swearsies, okay? We're gonna come up here, tap against the canvas, right? Same thing. Watch the angle of the handle. The handle's down here. I'm going to be slapping and it's going to be making a certain thing, right? Turn the brush over. Maybe we'll turn our handle up here so that we're smacking it this way. And it looks like it's being thrown in a different direction, right? We're doing this very quickly, just kind of slapping and smacking at the canvas because you want it to be random. You don't need it to be this perfect thing. Right? If anything, you need some areas that are completely untouched, unbrushed, like literal just splotches of paint up there that don't get touched and don't get messed with, right? You need stuff that looks overly brushed, overly bright, overly dark. You need them all. It needs to be random, right? It's not supposed to be this perfect thing. Now what we're going to do, we're going to switch to the Paint with Josh 1-inch brush. You guys can grab these brushes. Hopefully in about a month, they'll be out, and you'll be able to get these very cool Paint with Josh brushes. They work for oil paints, acrylic paints, and watercolors. You can use them for all sorts of stuff. So now I need to mix up, and that might be the wrong word. We need to graze across this paint. We just need to flick it, like just blow so lightly, you know what I mean, that we don't actually even touch it. Because if we push too hard, this is going to grow. It's going to grow over here and touch the eye of our wave, which we cannot allow that to happen, right? It's going to grow too far down, which we, again, cannot allow to happen. So we have to, I'm talking about make the small, where you got, there's the camera right there, right? There, like the smallest. I don't even want the bristles to move. That's how softly you got to touch this thing, right? Just gentle, and don't stay in the same place, please. Move throughout the wave. Be like, okay, I went from here, then I kind of went up and then down, then made a figure 8 back over here, kind of grabbed some, went back this way, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. As it gets over to the side, we can push a little harder and mix it a little more with those colors and allow it to become less detailed, right? Because in our minds, this has already happened back here. It's already back there, right? It's done. This is hitting. This is about to hit, right? So they should all look slightly different, and they do not need to be the same at all, okay? Now, we're going to trick your brain right now, right? You're looking at this thing going, man, this thing's like really flat, right? Like it's obviously, we're coming like looking cool. But if you really look at it, we've made this long S shape, right? What I want you to do is take your phone. This is what my phone looks like. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Look at your phone. You're looking at your phone. You're holding it. You're sitting on your bed or whatever, right? Turn your head on the side and look at your phone, okay? And tell me you don't see this letter S. See the letter S? Holy shaving cream. There's an S right there, right? Can you see it? Anybody? Let me know. Otherwise, maybe I'm crazy and I'm the only one that sees it. Anybody out there? You see the letter S? In the night. Right? Do you see it? Right. You see that letter S, right? So the point of the S is telling us where to start on this next side of our canvas, right? Because we're basically making Z shapes, boom, 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 all the way down the canvas. So if we've got a low edge here, right, we're going to go straight across, boom. It's telling us right there is where to put our next set of watery line, right? So I can scrape in a bit of line, come back over here, and then start cutting in and cutting in and cutting in. And the more that I go, the more I have to push on this paint, right? Like I have to continue pushing on it in order to get it to fall off the blade. Right? So we're going, we're going, and we're going, and we're pushing. And you can still see that there's a bit of dark section still in there, right? We cannot cover all the way to the front and lose that dark bit. Now, by the time we get down here, we should have train tracks right here. Very parallel lines that are going up, and they would continue on forever, right? It doesn't have to be the perfect straight line, but a very, very parallel line. What we need to do is get a little bit more of our liquid white. Come down in here, boom. Liquid white and titanium white, otherwise it doesn't work, I'm telling you. Okay, so we'll come back and we need to lower this line down a little bit, right? So we're going to start on there and we're going to push it harder and harder and harder, creating more space in between the wave where it's crashing. And you can even cut back into that wave, right? And leave more space in front of it that way, right? It's all up to you. You get to choose every time what it looks like. That's the fun part about painting with Josh, right? You do whatever. You don't have to have it looking a certain way just because mine looks this way. Yours doesn't have to look this way. I encourage you guys to change, to try something out, try new. You know what I mean? When you see that your painting's looking a certain way, go that way. See what it's going to look like by the time you get done. It's going to be a little bit different than mine, but that'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to get out there and just try some new stuff, right? Now what we've done is made this mess behind or in front of our first line and behind our lip of our water. It's all this messy paint. That's exactly what you want it to look like, you guys. Because by the time we come in with our titanium white, you see how we're just cutting it back and forth, trying not to make it all exactly the same. That's literally it. It's all you're doing is making it messy enough that it looks random, right? That's pretty much it. We're going to take a little bit more of our liquid white. Now that we have our line right here, right, we've got the front edge of our water, we're going to take our titanium white and about 60% and then our liquid white in about 40%. So it's a very wet paint, right? But it's got that titanium white in there, give it a little bit of body. If you have too much liquid white, it just blends away. It just goes and it's gone. You know what I mean? Now here's one part that you just can't mess up unless you let these two colors touch. Right? If these two how big was that roll of paint? My goodness, it's still going. Did we get a big enough roll to do the whole canvas? Oh my heck. I don't think I've ever had that happen in one roll of paint, but just shows you that you don't want to dump off the entire amount that you have on your first go. You can use it and make it spread. I can't believe that went that far. That is insanity. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, right? You can get in here, you can kind of swipe it down. They can be weird and different lengths and whatever, as long as you don't come up and touch your wave, right? As long as you have that dark separator in there, right? That's what we're gonna need. Now, I almost forgot about putting the details in our wave. Before we go any further, okay, let's get our titanium white now. We'll make a different pile, right? So this is just our pure titanium white over here. So I'm gonna scoop up a little bit of that titanium white. I'm gonna get into this liquid white first, and we're gonna start working in reverse time, right? We're gonna start at 3 o'clock, and then with each little click, our angles are gonna get more and more severe until we're about like 12:30, right? So we're gonna start way out here. By the time we go, we're gonna end up way up here, okay? So what I mean by that is down here at the very lip of the wave, this is where we start pulling to the side. And each time we have to take a step up. Otherwise, we're going to go over the detail that we just left right there, right? So you take a step up and back, and we're going straight out to the side, right? You need that thick titanium white to be able to grip to the canvas. We're touching so lightly, okay? Now, each time you take a step over and you get underneath the eye of your wave, that's when you can start to rotate, right? And it's not a string. It's not like a tree branch or a tree root or anything. It's literally a patch of stuff. And so if you get up there and you're like, oh no, I just made way too big of a spot. What am I gonna do? Just make sure that you leave some darkness and add more. You want to make too big of a spot? Make it bigger, right? Cover in more of that dark. Just don't cover everything. Because the more that we do and put out there, the more of that foamy stuff is floating up along the top of our water, right? Now, as we get in here, our takeoff spot has to move backwards, right? We can't just go from here and go straight up. It's not going to look right. It's not going to look like it's flowing, right? So as, like I was saying before, we started down here and we've taken a step backwards each time. Take another step back, roll, and then before we get to the end, we're going to curl up a little bit more. Not severely, just a little bit more, right? And then as you get in there, the more and more you start from back here, the more you can start scraping up and rolling back and leaving that patch of stuff just at more of a severe angle, right? Again, we're coming in, look at the handle of the blade, right? It turns. So I'm turning it that way. I'm helping it rotate it, right? If you do these things, it will do it. If you don't turn the blade, it will not make that shape, right? It's just science. If you're doing it correctly and moving, right, then it will make the shape. It does it for everyone. So if you do it, it'll work. I'm going to come out here and add just a few little bits of random white, right, because it almost looked like it was too dark over there. Okay, so we pop in our little random bits of white. Anywhere that I have too big of a bit of dark, I'll just pop in like a bit of white and cut it in half. You know what I mean? Boom. Super easy. Now you got all those details. They're rolling back, and then they're getting flatter and flatter and flatter and flatter. These guys can come up and eventually grip onto the wave, because all it's doing is rolling up, reaching the top, and then going off to the edge, right? So don't let them scare you, these waves. They're not hard. They're a very simple thing to do as long as you don't let them intimidate you. You know what I mean? They're going to try. They're going to be like, hey, we look really difficult because we got lots of details and lots of stuff, and it looks real hard to do. It's actually easier than doing a mountain or a forest painting, right? We're using less paint. Even though it looks crazy detailed, right? It's really not. We're just making a mess, and because it's the ocean, it's allowed to be a mess. And it'll look real, right? So now we'll take our 2-inch brush. We'll come up here. We know we scrape down out of order, obviously. You're supposed to do those parts first and then this, but you know, we're pineapples in the rose garden, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to take our very vertical brush. You can see it's not even perfectly clean. Doesn't even matter which side I use, right? And we want to go very lightly pulling down. Now we're holding the brush very vertically so that, unlike myself, you don't hit your lip up here, which I just did in a very large space. And I always tell you guys, don't do that, right? So maybe, Josh, look at the canvas when you're painting and see where the brush is going to contact before you just go plopping it up there. Okay, now I'm going to ask you guys, right? Does this look like wet sandy beach? Just tell me now, does this look like wet sandy beach? In the comments now, right? If not, tell me what you think it looks like. Tell me, I'm here, I'm reading them. Tell me, I'll probably respond to you right now. Tell me what you think, because a lot of times we get waterfall, right? But what if we took all those verticalities and we turned them into horizontalities, if that's a word, and then we spread them out without overspreading, so you remain that white, hazy, shiny wetness, right? No. Well, what about now, though? Like now, does it look more like wet sandy beach? And you get that shininess to it. Ugh. Right? And if you still think no, what about this? You take your last little line of fish pish, right? Start launching it out. Boom, boom, boom. Doesn't even have to be perfect. That's the best part about that sea foam in the front. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. We're going to come back. We're going to drag any amount that got left, you know, behind the lip, basically. Pull it away or back towards that wave, right? But just pull it horizontal. Don't try to go crazy on me and go this way, right? You never see me drag it straight upwards like that. No, go to the side, 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 and you get that very reflective color of our sky into that shiny, wet area. My goodness. Now, the only thing that is odd about the painting from here on out is this lip right here, right? And what we do is we scrape up a little bit more of our titanium white and liquid white mix, the same 60-40 mix or 50-50 mix we were working with, very close together. And we get down here and we start scraping down that paint to shrink our separation. What are you laughing at?
But how do you do this?
It is but witchcraft, and do not mention it. But how one shall have to do this? But how do you do this? This is witchcraft. And in order to do it, you need to watch a lot of Paint with Josh in order to be able to master these spells. Just like that. Seriously, though. You bring down your white paint on top of that dark separator without covering it completely. If you do happen to cover it, that is okay. Don't freak out. Just don't cover it across the whole wave. You have to at least have a little bit of an indication somewhere throughout that 16-inch line right there that says, okay, there's a bit of shadow underneath me. You have to have that, right? Tell me. Say, Josh, I promise I will have that dark separator, knowing that if I don't, my wave will look funky and strange and weird, and I know I won't like it. So repeat that back to me. I don't even remember what I said, but I hope you guys were paying attention. So now we're going to do the final 2 steps to making the painting. Then we're going to sign it. So if you like this one, you can grab it by going to paintwithjosh.com, grabbing the very first painting that you see. It's painting number 2,280. I can't believe we've done that many paintings. Sorry? Oh, cool. Yeah, it's right there. That guy. That's what it looks like right there, right? You can't click on that, but that's what it looks like when you go over there. It's the only painting that I have that doesn't have a photo. And the only reason it doesn't have a photo is because we're painting it live right here. We didn't know what it was going to look like. You know what I mean? And I've done it before where I've put up like an example photo, and someone had purchased it and then said, well, I bought this painting because they were looking at that example photo, which is a painting that was already sold a long time ago. It was just there for an example as what this one might look like. And they freaked out and lost their mind. And they were like, I bought this painting. I got to have this one. And I'm like, well, okay. So now we just rock with the thumbnail, right? So we don't know what it's going to look like. You don't know what it's going to look like until we paint it. And then it becomes a race to see who's going to be the first person to get there and have their very own Paint with Josh original displayed on their wall at their home. Within 10 days, you'll have this one too. They dry very quickly. I have a very secret way of drying them. And they dry within 4 or 5 days, sometimes 3. Then we get them in the mail and we get them out to you. I've got, how many are over there? 6 or 7 paintings over there that are waiting for the mailman to come tomorrow morning. So if you want to be part of a group like that in the future, then you've got to grab a Paint with Josh painting right now. Now remember, the more times that you guys buy these paintings, the more supplies I can get. right? The more free shows I can do for you. So if you are an artist, you already know that art supplies are not free, nor are they economical. So without you guys, I couldn't do what I do. So thank you guys for grabbing the paintings and supporting not only my dream, but your dream of being a better painter, right? We're both helping each other out. If you help me, I'll help you become better, right? It's a paint pro quo. A paint pro quo. Like quid pro quo. Like, oh, you help me, I'll help you.
Oh.
Clarice? No, nobody? That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so you guys come up with a title for this one, and I'm going to pop in the last couple details, and you're just going to have your minds blown out there, okay? So what we're going to do first is do our sandy speckles, right? When we do this technique, it almost looks like we literally just threw sand on the canvas, which is an idea that I need to do. I need to get some sand from the coast and just go like glitter. Just blow some real sand in there. You guys like that idea? I kind of like that idea. So I need a little of my odorless mineral spirits and a little of my black oil paint. And we're going to flick it off, right? We're holding the blade steady, dragging the brush through it so that it bends and then flicks forward. You can even see the blade is losing that black paint too, right? It won't stay on there forever. And we don't need too big of, marks or too big of little specks out there. So don't go too crazy. Test it in an area like a paper plate or your palette or somewhere that is not your canvas, because if you do it for the first time and flick off a whole huge big glob, you're not going to like it. So we're going to go into our Van Dyke brown next. We're going to speckle. Oh, geez, that's a lot. See what I mean? And then a little bit bigger specks. That's okay. You get bigger pebbles and different size stuff out there on the beach, but that just meant that I had too much wetness in my brush. So now, after wiping it on a paper towel, if I try it again, there, that's the stuff. Okay, now you might be looking at it going, okay, kind of, a little looks like sand, but not really, guy. Like, what are you talking about? Right? Let's get the liquid white, and here's where it really blasts into sand. Pure liquid white, no titanium white, no thinner, no nothing, just pure pure liquid white. And then back up like 6 to 8 inches. Always test it prior, but look at that. The more that you speckle in these little white bits, the more like seashells they look. And it picks up little specks of light everywhere. It's just gorgeous. And you can do as many as you want or as few as you want, right? Totally up to you. Everyone always has a different idea, right? And into the water we go. So I've washed off my brush, right? Got my liquid white back onto it. Tapped it onto my blade over here, right? Wiped off any excess I might have. I'm going to turn it this way. We're going to speckle right there on the top and then turn the blade handle and the direction of my things. I'm almost throwing the paint right back at me, right? Normally, if I were you, I would be over here doing it, right? But I have to stay off camera and do it this way and flick them all the way up into the sky, out here into this kind of dead zone where there's nothing painted out there, right? Over underneath. Maybe they're coming out of the barrel and just, oh, look, you can hear it crashing down. Shit! And I told you that this spot back here, that rolling, crashing bit, no one even cares. Have you even really looked at that spot since you did it? No. You've been looking at everything else, right? So just proves what I said before. No one even cares. So don't stress, right? When I figured that out, God, painting became so much more fun, right? Because when we're sitting here painting, I'm like, okay, my God, this is the best painting I've ever done. Okay, I need to go show it to everyone. Okay, you show it to someone and they look at it for like 1.5 seconds, maybe, and they go, oh, that's beautiful. So did you hear about the thing earlier? Like I went to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. They don't really care as much as we do, you know what I mean? Even though we want them to. Let's see.
He's asking for footsteps. So I said,
what?
I refute the footsteps from you.
Oh.
No feet.
No.
Well, you're the boss now. How about you just tell him what we're asking and see what he thinks? What do you think, John?
I think no to the footprints. London is correct. She knows what my answer would be. We don't. I don't really paint footprints a lot. You know what I mean? Especially down here where we paint the water. we're very close on top of that hard, compacted, really wet, saturated sand, right? The stuff that feels like cement. And so when you walk on that, you don't really leave a lot of footprints. We're not back far enough to see the white, dunes and the big, almost like waves that look like your footprint gets pushed in, all the sand goes inside your shoe. We're way closer to the water than that. And so it's much more like walking on the street down there. That's why I love it down there, because I don't have to trudge through the sand and try to I can't stand. That's why I go to a certain beach, because there is none of that white sand that I have to walk through to get down to the water. So I love the place that I go so much, because I don't like that white, soft, shifting sand. I can't stand it. I can't sand it. I want to be on the hard surface. So yeah, we don't do footprints, not down on this painting anyway. At least in my experience, don't see them that far down. And so yeah, please, if London answers a question for you, take the answer, because she's answering for me. You know what I mean? If she didn't know and I might have thought that was a good idea, then she'll interrupt me and say something.
You don't have to announce it. Someone was like, well, I'm unsubscribed.
Oh, all right. See you later. Sorry.
So this guy just called me rude.
Called you rude?
I didn't say anything. It's a conversation between you and I.
Oh, okay.
Rude. Well, you just lost the sale and sub. Bye. Okay, well, you wouldn't have bought it. There aren't footprints in it. You want footprints.
Right. If you want footprints, there won't be, you wouldn't purchase it. But either way, it doesn't matter. Don't let them get to you, London. Seriously. Just, I mean, we can either, argue with everybody, or just not look at the comments at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm talking to the people. Like, do you want us to look at the comments? Because the more that, it's whatever. I'm over it. I'm literally over it. Okay, let's pick a painting, or pick a title for this painting. I'm not going to let anyone, affect my mood or anything. So we're all good. But yeah, London knows what I paint. She's helping. She's there for a reason, to help me, so I can actually see and answer comments that I don't see, being up here doing the show and stuff. So I'm sorry to see people go, but if that's the reason that you're leaving, is that you didn't like London's answer to a question, then I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Stay for the painting, not because of stuff you won't paint.
Right,
Why do you stay for stuff you won't?
It's whatever. Okay, so you guys start coming up with a title, and then, okay, what's the best title? No footprints. London's taking it personally. Okay. I know, it's funny. Okay. Little Piece of Heaven, that's cool. Haha, no footprint. That's funny. I'm not here to make anybody angry. I'm just here to paint for you guys, and some things we don't paint. So if you don't like that, go watch somebody else. I don't know what to tell you anymore. Yeah. Paint Starry Night, otherwise I'm not getting it. Okay, don't get it then. I can't. Yeah, it's, either way, I'm not. The more we talk about them, the more they win. So we're going to forget about them and move on. Ghost Beach is cool. Storm Season, Sandy Beach. Before the Storm. Let's see. What's that say? Call it Footprints, LOL. Sea of Delight. I like that one too. Convergence is cool. Splash Island. That's a neat one. This has been so interesting. Thank you. I appreciate you for hanging out and watching. Why don't you toss me a title? See, we might actually pick it. Splash Island. Perfect Shore. Let's see. Turned out beautiful. Appreciate you. Whitewash. I like that. I like that. Somebody just put Darude by Sandstorm. Or Sandstorm by Darude. It's like Darude, Sandstorm. That's the title. Cue the music. Invisible Footprints. That's a funny one over on YouTube. Turbulence is cool. Does that say? Oh, Desolate Waters. That's a nice one. That's really neat, guys. Really neat. Let's see. Gentle Hand. Sea of Dreams. Surfer's Crash. I like that one. Crashing Waters. I dig that. Tidal Wave. Sounds of Silence. It's actually really loud down there. It's a cool kind of silence, though. You know what I mean? To not hear anyone else and just hear the ocean. It's awesome. What's that say? Washed stress away. The great splosh. I love that. Walking on the beach with Josh. I love all these now. See, everybody's jumping in. Crashing shells. That's a crashing shells. I don't know why it was so hard to say the first time. Let's see. Calm before the storm is cool. Sea of birds. Excellent as well. Right. I had to double check and make sure I actually put the bird signature on there. We do need to sign it over here. So, boom, boom, boom. There we go. Okay. So, you guys type it in. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to type in your title. I'm going to look around. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to look at the screen. The very first title that I see is going to be what the title is, right? So, you guys type it in right now. And then I'm going to turn around and look. And then we're going to sign it and be done for the evening. This one came out amazing. You ready? Has it been 10 seconds? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe 3, 2, 1. Cloudy Seas right there. Who is that? Jesse something? Can you pin that one, London? Cloudy Seas by Jesse something or other. It went on TikTok. It went up faster than I could see. Oh, yeah, right there. Cool. Thank you. What was it say? Jesse Vathar. 412. I like it. Cloudy Seas. That's a cool title. So, yes. This one's been fun. I've liked it. Nice little under an hour show for you. Came out really cool. Remember, you can find this painting and many, many, many other paintings available on my website, paintwithjosh.com. The official website. We have no other places, right? Any of our other websites you go to will take you to paintwithjosh.com. If they don't, then you know you are being scammed, right? Do not donate to any other place. Like, we only have our one site, okay? So if you're looking for, you know, official original paintings and stuff, paintwithjosh.com is where you want to be. Now let's do 2280 cloudy. What was it again? Cloudy Seas. I like that. Perfection. What was it again? I accidentally wrote the word shores, so it's Cloudy Shores now. I was like, what's that? Cloudy Seas? Okay, Cloudy Shore shit. Cloudy Shores it is. Painted on 2026 right there. You guys, that is, I don't know, dyslexia, ADD, ADHD times a million. I was just like, cool title. I'm going to make my own. Didn't mean to do that. So we're all going to go check out this website right there to get all sorts of original Paint with Josh paintings, plus posters and prints and puzzles and all sorts of stuff that we've got available over there. I cannot wait to see your guys' versions of this painting. I'm telling you, they're going to turn out amazing. So when you finish yours, send it in to me on Facebook at official Paint with Josh, or post it into any one of the posts that I ever put out on Facebook. We post on Facebook a lot, so there's lots of places for you to find and drop the image of your painting in there. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can already tell. So beyond that, we've got literally thousands of other videos over on YouTube. That would be Paint with Josh. You just search Paint with Josh over there. You follow me on Instagram or on TikTok at Paint with Josh K. That's the screen name for those two. And beyond that, you guys have been fantastic. So from London and myself, we hope you have an excellent day or the rest of the Super Bowl evening. And until we see you guys again next time, take care. Have a good day. And well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out paintwithjosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys